This is where I filmed my very first pair of rollers with this Nikon P950 camera 3 years ago. Lightweight camera, so this was suggested. Like I say, it's called the Nikon P950 Super Zoom, and it only weighs a kilo. Absolutely fantastic. You can carry it around your neck all day and it's not too bad at all. And like the video says, all the gear and no idea. That is me. All I've ever done is point and shoot, automatic, everything. So I'm now learning to use a camera for the first time in my life. So that I could get some long range video, really. I wasn't intending to do a lot of photography. I've never really been that interested in it. Before I bought this camera, I very rarely used anything just apart from action cameras, you know, GoPro type style things and drone footage. Everything was done in auto, point and shoot. All the gear and no idea, 3 years later. Am I still a noddy? I hope that I'm not a noddy anymore, but I'm certainly not a professional photographer either, put it that way. But I have learned an awful lot of stuff with this Nikon P950 camera. Like I said 3 years ago, I'd never used any type of camera apart from the GoPro style things, action cameras and drones, where you had no control over a lot of stuff. So this Nikon P950 camera was my first ever camera, and I've used it for 3 years now. Nearly every day, hope you know, and thoroughly enjoyed it. I originally bought it solely because the weight at a kilo, you just can't go wrong with that. I mean, it's obviously today I'm sat in the car because I'm trying to film a hoopoe on the ground here. It keeps coming in and out of shot, and hopefully I'll get it in a minute. I've got a spotted flycatchers just landed in front of me to the side, and this is the first spotted flycatchers I've seen in 2 weeks. There's a pair of them. I think it might be an adult and a fledgling. Hang on a minute. I live here in the Guadelentin Valley in Murcia region of southern Spain, and to say it gets warm in the summer is an understatement. And I can't fault this camera in that respect. I have sat before now with it just recording into the sunshine. And I've had no problems with it overheating or anything like that. That side of it's been absolutely fantastic, you know. That golden oriole just keeps singing in the background all the time. But it was just not coming into shot. Normally when I'm doing video, I use the autofocus purely because it makes life easier and the camera sorts itself out quite quickly. But sometimes you just have to get in amongst the branches and you have to use manual focus. And this camera has actually got a pretty good manual focus on it. It's not in the best of places, and it's not like a manual ring on a DSLR camera. It's this little dial here. I don't know whether we can see this or not. I'll put a picture up. But it's quite awkward to get used to start with. But once you get the hang of it, you can really hunt amongst the branches and the leaves, etc., for birds. It's not always where they're sat out in the open on a nice perch with a nice blurry background. Sometimes you just got to look in the trees for them, especially with these flycatchers and the golden oriole. I hope you're getting this. I've got this hoopoo down here in the bottom of the fir trees, and he's just sat there having a snooze up on this branch. And I keep forgetting to mention this. Let me just see if I can show you this, what I'm seeing now. And I keep forgetting to mention this on the back of the camera. Let me use a key. Let me show you. I use autofocus, and then you've got this AFL button, AFEL button, which are the autofocus lock and the auto exposure lock. When you hear me click in a video, that's me setting the focus on the camera. I'm locking the focus with the auto exposure and auto focus on the camera. This button up here, I'll put a better photograph. But look, there's that hoopoo just sat in the afternoon sun. Like I say, manual focus, auto focus. You must hit this button every time to lock focus, okay? Normally when I'm sat here, I don't talk to the camera because I don't want to spook them. But today I'm just going to be pretty quick. They don't seem to mind me. I'm sat a good 30 metres away from them. Obviously, I'm not going to show you where it is because it'll give the game away where the nest is. if you want steady video, you've got to use a tripod, a monopod, or a beanbag. I probably spent the first year trying to do all handheld stuff, and to say it was shaky was an understatement. You really do need to sort of put it on some kind of platform or something to stabilize it, because most of the time, if you're like me, I bought this camera for the super zoom. You know, it's 357mm, which in full frame equivalent is 2000mm, which is enormous. And that's why I bought it originally, for doing the raptors at long range. You know, the little birds like that hoopoo was only probably 8 meters from the car. When you're watching golden eagles, etc., you're looking, they won't let me within 500 meters of them. And that's obviously why I bought this Nikon P950 camera, solely because of this 2000mm zoom lens on it. But you've got to remember, at that kind of distance, in the summer here, we get lots of heat haze. You know, it really does affect the quality of the video. It's not as sharp, but that's nature, I'm afraid. The other trouble with filming in July is the cicados. The noise can drive you insane. It sets my tinnitus off absolutely mad. But this is the noise I hear in my head most of the year, 24/7. So welcome to my world of the cicado. Oh, that fly. Yeah, I spent a bit of time now talking to the camera, and I'm going to have to move again now. I've done one too many mazarron waves. Yeah, I've got some pretty good footage already of them feeding each other and catching insects, etc. Beetles. They seem to like a lot of beetles. Yeah, I might have done one wave too many then. Oh, he's just coming back round again now. Anyway, I'm off to the next location now, because I'm sat here in the full sun and I'm beginning to overheat already. Sometimes you just have to come out of hours to get some decent film or decent photographs. Everyone would love to get it in the golden hours, you know, in the morning and the evening, but it doesn't always work out like that. Sometimes you go somewhere and you think, I'll go and have a look at that at midday, and you get there and there's brilliant, absolutely fantastic. You know, a lot of my footage is done like this. So you think, right, I'll come back the next morning. You get there at first light, nothing, nada. So you try in the evening, nothing again. So, you know, not always. You have to think outside the box slightly, and sometimes, you know, just go slightly out of hours. Yeah, this is the first year this wood's been quite popular with the bee eaters in the late afternoons. I think this year's a perfect storm for the wasps, which seems to be their main quarry at this time of year. But God, these cicados are a bit noisy today. But yes, these bee eaters have been making full use of this wood, and they're literally waiting for the insects to be blown in. I don't know whether the wasps have got their nests in here or the wasps are hunting. I'm not really sure, to be honest. But you've got to go where the birdies are. After 3 years of constant use, what would I score this camera? As far as I'm concerned, I've got to give it 10 out of 10. You know, if it's got any downfalls, that's probably because of me and not the camera. Value for money's been absolutely fantastic. It hasn't broken. I've dropped it slightly. Cut that bit. No, overall, 10 out of 10. I can recommend it. If you're someone who wants a lightweight camera and it only weighs a kilo, 2.2 pounds roughly, with an amazing super zoom and a bit of basic video and that, you can't go wrong with it. So I'm giving it a thumbs up. I've done one too many mazarron waves now, and the birds are gone. Obviously, I've been talking too long, so we'll call it. After 3 years of using this Nikon P950 camera, I'm thinking I might have an upgrade. I'm not really sure yet, as there's some very unusual cameras. No, not unusual cameras. There's a camera coming on the market soon that could quite interest me, made by DJI. I'm not sure yet. We'll see when it comes out and how good it is. But I'm thinking of, I might give it a look at. The rumours and the specs seem to be quite good, but it could be another Nikon, who knows. If you have enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up, a like and a subscribe.